welcome back to the Breaker Bros.
Brother.
And tonight we're going to react to the Bengals players Madden ratings. T. Higgins signing the franchise tag, and then Ted Karras signing an extension, which I guess no one really expected. But, I mean, understandable. And then I guess we can talk a little bit of training camp. But I guess starting off, we were talking about it a little bit. Possibly we might get Madden. Maybe we'll play it, stream it, something.
Yeah, I mean, I got PS5 today, so.
Oh, nice. You gonna hook it up to the big screen?
I was gonna put it in my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to figure out like if we're gonna stream it, how we're going to get that set up, but I guess we'll figure that out at a later date.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out logistics. Yeah, I guess I would have to put it down here, but
yeah, no, it's I guess what sparked our interest was that I was fairly convinced when we saw that teaser that it was Burrow, but it actually ended up being McCaffrey, which I think most people.
A lot of people on the Twitter said that was McCaffrey.
Yeah, they had it right.
Saw that. Yeah,
it was weird. Well, because I was looking at the comments too before we reacted to it, and I was like watching like clips of him because I just wanted to hear what he sounded like, and he didn't really sound like that audio to me. But I guess maybe I didn't watch the right clips.
Well, maybe they probably altered it a little bit to obscure it.
Yeah, I think they enhanced it, like gave it like rich audio quality or whatever. Because I don't know, I felt like just the way it sounded, it just seemed like it had like a lot of Burrow's accent. I mean, the voice definitely sounded a little bit different, but I don't know. But nonetheless, it sparked our interest, and I was like, well, maybe we should just check out the Madden ratings, see how they are. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone ever really agrees with Madden ratings completely. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I guess there's like an X factor when it comes to certain ratings. And then also, if you click into the name, like if you click on Jamar Chase, I think it gives you a little bit more detailed breakdown. So if like you want to check their speed and like their different attributes.
Oh, there you go. He's not good at kicking or blocking.
What? You gotta scroll down a little bit more. Keep going.
Good thing there's no ads on this.
There it is.
Oh, there you go.
Because
I mean, these ratings are stupid. There's just no way.
What do you see that is wrong?
There's just no way that Tyreek Hill's a 99 and then Jamar Chase is only a 93. It's just dumb.
Yeah, I think there's somewhat of a recency bias when it comes to certain ratings. I mean, 93 is still really good, I feel like, overall. But I mean, I agree. I feel like it is kind of... I think it's on the... at the very least, I feel like he should be a 95, if not like a 96. Because if you think Jefferson's a 99, or, yeah, like you said, Tyreek, then I feel like Jamar Chase is at least a 96 overall.
But then again, it's just a video game, so I guess we shouldn't get too upset. But at the same time, I feel like the Bengals like top players are too lowly rated.
Yeah, can you click back out of that?
Sure.
I guess we'll just kind of skim through the top 10. Because when I initially saw it,
like I mean,
wait, what? What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, like the next one that like really is like absurdly low is Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, so he's like an 89, but like his average like what 17 sacks or 15, 16 sacks the past 3 years.
Can we search by player? Because I guess TJ Watt wouldn't. I feel like he's probably like a 98 or like a. Because I don't remember seeing him getting the 99. He's got to be one of their top rated players, I would imagine.
TJ Watt's a 97.
Okay, so yeah, if he's a 97, then yeah, so I feel like Hendrickson would be like a 93 at least, right?
Yeah.
or like a
Right,
92.
Right. It just seems off. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what the exact numbers are or what the exact numbers should be. I don't know what, like, you know, it just feels like they're, if you have a scale out of 81, it just seems, or I'm sorry, if you have a scale that goes all the way up to 99, it just seems dumb that like average is like 80. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it should be more refined than that. So I just think that their numbers are goofy.
Yeah, as far as I can remember, like I said before, like no one really ever fully agrees with Madden ratings. Like, I mean, with some players, yeah, you can understand like Mahomes being a 99. I was actually kind of surprised that they gave Kelsey a 99. Like, I feel like he should be highly rated, but I don't know about a 99. That seems kind of, or maybe he had a pretty good year last year. I'm sure he did as far as overall stats, but I just don't feel like he's a 99. Like maybe a 97.
Yeah, so they have two 99s and a 97 on the Chiefs.
What's their overall? What, like a 91, I guess, or 92?
92.
Okay, so I would imagine they're probably the best team. Yeah, they would have to be because they just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the Bengals, when I was looking at like the top 10, I was kind of surprised how high, because Trent Brown made the top 5. I was like, what? As far as overall ratings, so I was kind of surprised like about that. And I guess
that like Higgins, Hendrickson, Burrow, Chase should all be higher.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that 6 through 8 should be a little bit higher as well. And then Orlando Brown seems low, but
yeah. And then even Cam Taylor Britt, I feel like is low because they. Yeah, it's I think part of the reason why some of these players.
Evan McPherson is like a 78. I mean, that's.
Yeah, if you click on him, his kicking power, I think they gave him a 75. I'm like, what?
64?
Yeah, I was like, what? His acceleration is 82. That's really weird.
Kick power 95.
Okay. I must have been looking at the wrong thing then.
Yeah, kick accuracy 86.
Oh, his kick rating was 64. Okay,
but kick return, so he doesn't do good on kickoffs? Is that what that means?
No, I think that literally means kick return, like receiving.
Oh, well, that's dumb. Why would you lump those together?
Because it just says kick. Well, maybe. Yeah,
You
I don't know.
Like, why would those be lumped? So, like, if you were like Tyreek Hill, say, right? Like, if your kick return would probably be like 99, but your kick power and kick accuracy would have to be like 0 then, right?
Yeah. Well, go to Murphy, or not Murphy. Oh my God, Charlie Jones, and see what his return is, or what it says for his return. Yeah, they do it all.
They lump them together. That's a bad idea, right?
I mean, it might just be
why would you group those together?
Because it might just be the website. It's not necessarily a Madden thing.
Oh, it's not a Madden thing. It's just this website.
Yeah, because I don't think this is necessarily.
MaddenRatings.com.
Yeah, I think this is just. I don't think it's necessarily affiliated with Madden.
Okay, so I should be less angry. That explains all the ads.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I'm getting bombarded. Is that why you wanted me to be on this so I could get like all the viruses and stuff from being on this website?
Oh, I'm on it too.
Oh, okay.
No, I was looking at it before. I think it's just they make it easy to, I guess, go through the ratings.
Uh-huh.
His speed, I think, is like a 93, which I guess is
so he's
about
like
right.
the same as Jamar Chase then, right?
No, I think Jamar Chase is a 94.
Speed
no,
is a 90.
Oh, that's weird. Then okay, I think it's Yosevash. I feel like his speed is a bit low. Because if you go to Yosevash,
See, now that doesn't make sense because
they ran the exact same.
they ran the exact same speed.
But maybe they take account of like game speed.
What?
Like how fast you play the game. Or yeah, I think Yosevash is okay, never mind. 92. So Jamar Chase must be the 93. Which makes sense because I think
Makes
Jamar
zero
Chase
sense,
ran
dude.
a fourth, huh?
This makes zero sense.
Well, because I think it's kind of weighted because I think the faster receivers run like a 4.2, like in the 4.2 range. I think he's a
Okay.
93, and I think he ran. Oh no, he is a 94,
He's a 94 in speed.
and he ran a 4.3. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. But then, like,
You would have to go to Tyreek Hill. Dolphins.
well, I just want to look at the Vikings.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
He should be their top-rated player. Oh, see, look, they have speed as a 92. But I bet his, I feel like they might have his acceleration a bit higher.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I also think they kind of add certain, I guess, certain ratings into the mix just so they can have certain players rated higher.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. They kind of just wing it.
Yeah. But I think, too, it's because some of the ratings are pretty inconsistent from year to year. I think there's a method to their madness. Mainly just because, in a way, when you kind of, I guess it makes people more invested in it. Actually, I think Chad Johnson, he's one of the people that helps out with the ratings. Like they have like a handful of people that can affect the ratings. So like I know Chad Johnson will go around to certain training camps, and if he sees people performing better than what they're rated, he'll give them like a point or two bump in certain categories, which is kind of nice. I don't think they have the rookies rated yet, because I was kind of interested to see what they would have Burton rated in certain attributes. But unfortunately, they don't have any of the rookies rated. It is still kind of early. Well, I think Madden comes out in August. And I think right now is the beta. So I'm sure, I would imagine that the ratings will come out sooner than later, because eventually they're going to have to get him in there.
Yeah.
Actually, they should be in there already. The more I think about it, because I know people are playing the beta. So, and then I know the rookies are in the beta because like they had Penix, they made him white, and then that Iowa cornerback, I forget his name, but they made him black. So like they had a few things wrong.
Just a few?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's crazy that they have Brad Robbins rated the same as Drew Sample and Browning. I think Browning should be in the 70s.
Yeah.
Sample should definitely be in the 70s. I feel like Turner is rated a bit low. Yeah, see, look, there's
they
the
have rookies, but they don't have them ranked.
Yeah. I think our first 4 picks are definitely going to be in the mix a lot. Like, obviously, none of them's really going to start. Well, possibly Burton, because I know the third receiver, if you're the number 3 receiver that's considered a starter on the Bengals roster.
Yeah.
So he probably has
a good chance of starting.
Yeah. But I could see it where he probably gets the same amount of looks as Gesicki.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he's going to have way more explosive plays. Like, I feel like, yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy if you think about it. Because if you're going to have Burton, Gesicki, Chase, and Higgins all on the field at the same time, like, I feel like that's a pretty big mismatch. There's going to be a big mismatch somewhere along the way.
Yeah, what if they put in our vertical threat, Cal Adamitis?
Yeah, click on that. What?
It's like vertical threat. You mean long snapper?
Yeah, it's weird that they don't have him. Like, they don't have a category for long snappers. That seems kind of weird. Or special teamers.
Yeah.
That's so weird. His injury is 89. I guess it's so insignificant to them that they just don't want to invest any time or energy in it.
Yeah.
To give like a snap rating.
Mm-hmm.
But you would think, I don't know. I feel like that little detail would go a long way, especially for like those.
How's that going to go a long way? Can you imagine playing the game and like you have to worry about snapping?
Yeah, because that's like real life. Come on, if it's in the game.
Well, I guess if it's in the game, it's got to be in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess that's EA
like
Sports, but
yeah, it's EA Sports.
Oh yeah, that is Madden. Sorry.
But yeah, maybe if you play on the like more difficult levels, I could see maybe you'd want to have that be a issue.
No, I will say. I guess what I'm saying is because like every now and then, and it should be like once in a blue moon type of thing where you have like a really bad snap for whatever reason that can affect the game because that's just kind of how it is in real life. But I can see why they don't do that because there are still a lot of glitches in Madden, at least from the last time I played, which was about like a few months ago.
I thought you were gonna say years.
I mean, yeah, I used to play all the time until like what they did was they added like a ranked mode online and head to head, and like people found a way where they could disconnect on their end if they were losing, but it would make it seem like the other person disconnected and you would take a loss from it.
Oh,
yeah, it's like it happened to me twice in a row, and I just got so upset. I was like, you know what? I don't want to play this anymore, so I just stopped playing for a while. But I did take like a 2 or 3 year break with like not playing it, and I've only played like the last Madden maybe 10 times. But from what I played, it just like it seemed pretty much the same thing I played before. Just I wasn't as like good as I used to be. But it had like a lot of those glitchy moments where you're like, "What? How could that?" What?
Yeah, Madden's always been a very glitchy game.
Yeah. So I could see why they don't add some of that stuff in there because that would definitely be something where people would rage and throw like a controller at a TV or something.
Hey man, that's revenue. Sell new controllers.
And TVs.
And TVs. They should do that more.
But I mean, if anything, they should at least get his title right or his actual position.
Yeah. I agree. It's not that hard.
Nah. But yeah, I don't know. I guess his this long snapper ratings are pretty insignificant. But yeah, it's kind of funny that they consider him a vertical threat.
He's an elite vertical threat.
I mean, that doesn't make sense because when you say vertical threat, that's like a receiving thing. But
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of remember him like getting down the field quickly to get tackles. So I can see it from that perspective, but that's not offense. It's more of a defensive thing. Well,
Yeah.
special teams, but I mean, if you're tackling, that's like a defensive.
Defensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, come on, Madden, figure out a different rating for that, or at least category or whatever they call them, call tags.
Yeah, make it more realistic, man.
Yeah, if you go back, like they call Burrow a field general, which I agree.
Yeah.
What is Chase? I think Chase is the X factor.
We gotta go back to the top.
Actually, he might be considered a vertical threat too.
Deep threat.
Deep threat. What? Okay, now I'm confused.
Yeah, the whole thing's weird.
Maybe vertical is not necessarily just offense. Maybe that is just literally getting down the field.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I've always took vertical as like a passing thing, like deep threat.
Mm-hmm.
And they call Trey Hendrickson like a smaller speed rusher. Like what?
Yeah, he's smaller and speedy. I don't know.
Is he really small though? I think he's like 6'5".
I don't think he's small. No.
Trent Brown power. I agree.
Yeah, I would assume so. But like T. Higgins, like.
I'd say T. Higgins is pretty physical.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put him at 85 overall.
No, he should at least be at 90. But I think some of these ratings are lower than like Burrow, Higgins. I don't understand Chase's rating, but part of it is I think because they were hurt last year and it kind of hurt their rating a little bit. Because yeah, I feel like pretty much. Well, besides Trent Brown, I feel like he's actually higher than what I expected. But the other four should have definitely been higher. Can you scroll down to like the 6 through 10? Okay, so they have Logan. Oh, Geno Stone. I thought Geno Stone would have been rated a little bit higher, but to be honest, I'd only really seen him when we played the Ravens, and he seemed pretty good or decent. Yeah. So like, okay, so only our top 10 players are in the 80s or above. Which I don't necessarily agree with that because I feel like Cam Taylor-Britt should be in the 80s.
Yeah.
Karras might be a fair rating.
How do you be it? How are you an 89 overall if you only have 2 players above 89?
Can you scroll back up again? Okay, what does general mean? Because it says overall, general, and total.
Oh, general I think is like their physical abilities. And then overall is like they give them like football abilities.
Ah.
So like general C is like acceleration, speed, agility, jumping, strength. Right? And then they have like pass specific ratings.
Okay. So is the general ratings always the same for each position? I think so.
I don't know.
Okay, so there's okay, I see. I think general ratings is probably what they started out with from like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's expanded to like the ball carrier, blocking ratings, and all those other specific ratings. So I guess general is more or less something that you can't put in its own category and detail it out, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, because if you look at ball carrier ratings, they got vision, carrying, trucking, stiff arm, spin move, juke moves, break tackle. Yeah, okay. Do they have like route running?
Yeah.
Ratings.
Well, for receivers, they do. There you go.
Okay, there it is. Huh. No, I mean, it's pretty detailed. If you consider all those different attributes.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how many people they actually have, I guess, like scouting this. I feel like
not enough.
I mean, yeah, they're probably never going to have enough because it would take a lot
of stuff just has to be made up, right?
Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why they outsourced it to like former players to help out with the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they use PFF at all.
I know they use it for college, but I don't know about NFL. But they probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. That would make a lot of sense on their part. I mean, because it would take a lot of time. Because they would essentially have to scout every single player for every team. Like the NFL does, or like NFL teams don't even do that. Like, I mean, they scout the teams that they're going to play the week of, but they don't do every single team.
Yeah, but they have all that data though. They have all that. Like they track players visually, right?
What do you mean?
Like every single play in the NFL, they use like video tracking.
Yeah, I think they have that. Was it Gen X or not? Or
well, they call it next gen stats.
Next gen.
It's like literally though, like every single play is mapped. So like they have data that tracks every single play on the field, right? So it wouldn't be that hard to do if you were like, if you were dealing with computers and you were good at computer programming to like, I mean, let me put
it's this. Still a lot of data.
I feel like I could do it if we got access to the data, but like they don't just give you the data. But I'm sure if you're EA, you could afford to pay for some sort of license to the data, and you could actually rank people and like know how fast they are and all that other stuff, right?
Yeah, some of that stuff seems pretty easy to evaluate, like the general ratings, but like the short route running, medium route running, deep route running,
it wouldn't be that hard. It's all cataloged.
Yeah, I guess. Are you talking about from EA's perspective or the NFL team's perspective?
I'm talking about from the NFL team's perspective. And if the data exists, then you can just get the data. And for like computer scientists, it'd be a lot easier to get the data and analyze it than it would for an NFL team to get the data and analyze it themselves. You know what I mean? Because you could like just do it. You could automate it. Especially if you're just doing, like, if you're just trying to come up with numbers, right? Like deep throw accuracy, right? You could just figure out like some sort of way of measuring that and then apply it to all the data and then spit the numbers out. Wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, but that's even if you had all the data,
yes,
it would still be a lot to look over for every single team and wouldn't be necessary. And then secondly,
not really.
The data.
How hard is it? It's not hard.
What do you mean to memorize every?
You don't have to you're not memorizing it.
Well, yeah, you would have to memorize it to a certain extent.
No, you just have your computer program calculate it and spit a number out and save it on your computer. Why do you need to memorize it?
Because that's how scouting works. Like if you're preparing to go against another team, you need to know your biggest threats, right?
You don't need to scout it for EA Sports. You just need to come up with numbers.
Oh, I see what you're saying. For the NFL to give them the okay, yeah. I think we're talking about two different things.
If you're trying to figure out how to game plan, yeah, it's a lot harder. That's why I said it's a lot harder for an NFL team to use the data because they gotta prepare for games, and also they probably are not very good at computers, because if you look at an NFL coaching staff, it's filled with dudes related to dudes that used to coach or used to be GMs and stuff. I don't think anybody went to school for like data analysis, you know? It's all just like the GM's nephew. Right?
I feel like the younger coaches, like in the Zach Taylor range, I feel like they're really into like the tablets.
That's different than being able to do like data analytics. They're all former football players. Nobody knows how to do any of that stuff on an NFL staff. It's all just who you're related to, right? I mean, Zach Taylor,
just like any big organization, they hire someone out to do those. It would be silly for a coach to waste time.
But that's the thing, though. No. You're missing that's the point. Like, if you hire out some dude to do data analytics, what are you going to do with it? It's just like what some guy that you hired says. It's not like what the analytics knows.
Out of, like, say, percentage wise, analytics, as far as like what contributes to the win, like those really advanced analytics, I think it's like a very, maybe like 10%. It has like some type of effect.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they don't know how to do it. So
I disagree. I don't think it's like that difficult to figure out.
I bet you
I just don't think they have the time to figure it out.
Yeah, because they're because they're just football guys. They don't know how to do data analytics. There's literally a catalog of what happened in every single play last year. Like what the left guard was doing on every single run play. Like mapped.
Yes and no. It
is.
No, it's not. It from a numbers perspective, yes.
Yes.
But you still have to watch film and understand what that person was doing.
You don't have to watch film.
Right.
I'm saying that they're not using that data properly.
Because it would be a big waste of time.
It wouldn't be a waste of time.
Why yes, it would. Because if it wasn't, then people would be doing it now already. I mean, they're getting into it a little bit more.
That's what I'm saying.
No, we're talking about two different. I don't think it's that they don't know what they're doing, because anyone can figure that out. It's not. I don't think it's that difficult what you're talking about.
It's not if you know what you're doing, but they don't know what they're doing.
I don't think it's that difficult, Eric. It's not rocket science. Anyone can mess with the spreadsheet for a few hours and be like, "Oh, data."
Well, no, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Then what are you talking about?
You have like all kinds of geometric data to play with.
Like what?
And there's like where every single player is on the field at every single moment of a game.
What does it matter if a player is at that point of the field? Who cares?
That's what I mean. You don't get it.
I'm asking you, explain it. You're not explaining anything. Why would it matter if they're at that specific point of the field?
Because there's going to be like hidden kind of tendencies and hidden kind of like cause and effect relationships between what you do and who the players are. And if you know how to map that, then you can find advantages. And I don't think like teams are there yet.
Whereas I disagree. I think they do it in a different way, where they actually watch the film.
That's different. That you're missing my point. That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, you're not. You're saying the data is going to tell you something you can't see from the film.
Yes, it shows you stuff you wouldn't be able to see from the film. Yes, that's the whole point of it.
But I don't know. I don't think that type of data is going to affect the outcome of the game.
Sure,
no, it wouldn't. And my main point is I do believe there's people in the NFL that know exactly what you're talking about, and there are people that do what you're talking about, but I don't think it has that great of an effect to get that victory.
I think that they're probably onesie-twosie people that know how to do it, but I think that they're not the type of people that the head coaches listen to or put much credence into what they say, because they don't really understand.
Yeah, because NFL is a physical sport. It's more than just numbers. numbers to me is a very small part of football. It's like
You're proving my point.
I'm-
You're thinking like a football guy. That's not.
I'm thinking because I know what I'm talking
point.
about. I'm going off of
I'm
my
not saying I don't know what
experience.
you're talking about. I'm just saying that there are like hidden.
Well, you are
things
saying
in
I
the
don't know what I'm talking about
information.
because that was your whole point, is that the NFL is essentially too dumb to know how to do it, and that's why they don't do it.
Right.
So you're
Yeah,
effectively
that's what I'm
calling me dumb. So I take offense to that.
Well, I don't mean dumb from the sense of they're dumb people. I mean dumb from the sense of they haven't figured out how to take advantage of the data.
I think that's so silly. Like they're multi-billion-dollar organizations. They have
but
very
run
smart
like,
people.
NFL franchises are run like family restaurants and like fruit stands. They're not run like billion-dollar companies.
I disagree.
They're totally.
If they weren't run like billion-dollar companies, they wouldn't be ranking in the revenue that they were. If they were operating just like a mom and pop shop,
they
totally would have never
like mom and pop shops.
No.
Yes.
How so?
Well, first of all, if you look at the makeup of any NFL front office, like half the people are like related to the owner.
Okay.
That's very much like a family restaurant or like a local fruit stand down the road, right?
Okay. I think
like,
the majority of teams.
Well, because my dad owns the team.
That's not true.
Well, what are you in charge of? I'm in charge of marketing. Why? Well, because
there's only like a handful of teams that are run like the Bengals. The majority of the other teams are run by multi-billion-dollar business people that run businesses for a living, and then they translate those skills into running an NFL organization.
Name an NFL organization that doesn't employ a bunch of their relatives in
the Green Bay Packers, the Carolina Panthers. I'm not saying that they don't
like
employ.
Kansas City Chiefs do, Dallas Cowboys do,
but the Dallas Cowboys come from a business family. The Chiefs come from a business family. But of course, they're going to have a handful of people that are probably in high positions that are related, but they also have like 50 other people that they hire that do all like the hard stuff, the stuff that you are talking about.
I know, but it's just because you do it doesn't mean that the people that are in charge of making decisions listen to the person that's doing it or know how to make use of the information that they're given. So they just like, okay, that's cute, right?
Or it just doesn't have that great of an effect and they don't put that much time and energy into it because it would just be effectively a waste of time. But that's just my opinion. I think we're just going to agree to disagree.
That's your opinion. That's you're making my point for me.
No.
Football people think that that's cool, but that's not important. So I'm not going to waste time figuring out how to use it.
You're simplifying it too much. You're making it seem like I'm not open-minded to it because like I'm very much into numbers and analytics and that type of stuff. I'm just going off of the grapevine and what I heard, and from what I understand, analytics have become more of a thing, and they use it.
I'm not talking about analytics. I'm talking about like the full on like time. Time. No,
you are talking about analytics.
Tells you exactly where
you literally just said analytics. Like I don't Okay.
Well, no. When people say analytics, they're talking about like, oh, should I go for 2 here, or like those sorts of decision-making things, or do I call timeout here? Do I do this? That's like, yeah, that's one application of it. What I'm saying is that they're not applying like the real-time player location data in a meaningful way. And I think like Madden should be like doing that and doing it well. And I don't think they're doing it either.
I do think it's more
because I think these numbers are like not reflective of what we see on the field from the Bengals perspective.
Yeah, but like the whole thing of just looking at the raw data and like seeing, okay, well, why is this person over there? But if you like watch the film, you may realize, oh, okay, that person ran the wrong way, or that person, or they're doing a specific play.
Yeah, but that stuff would all get sussed out. That's the whole point of it. If you break down the information right, you will see trends, right? And that's the advantage.
I think
you would see trends and correlations that other people wouldn't see by analyzing the information better than other people. And it would go hand in hand with like watching film. Like you would like marry the 2 bits of information.
But I think they get most of the information just by watching film, because for the most part,
that's all
the NFL teams basically know
Watching
all their
film
plays.
is like a archaic way of doing something that you could do like automatically at scale for like every single team.
No, because the way your mind processes things is totally different than the way a computer would do it.
Yeah, that's the point. The
Well,
computer would do it differently, so you would get a different perspective of it. And by looking at things from a different perspective, you might gain insight that you otherwise wouldn't have.
what
by
I'm saying
doing
is
it by
the human
watching
mind
just
is so
film.
much more advanced when it watches film versus a computer. Is what I'm saying. Like those old football coaches that you talk about, they see a lot of things that most people don't see because they've been coaching for a while. They see
fair enough.
tendencies and twitches
There are
and
things that they don't see that you would get in the other data.
like what? If you're watching the film, you should know everything.
No.
What could you not get from film that you can get from the data?
It shows you where everybody is at every moment and
That's
what
what
direction
film
they're going,
is.
and how fast they're going.
I think the speed element is probably the most important.
Speed and geometry of things, right? Like you could use it to be predictive. You could use it to see things, right? Like
The reason why I disagree with
why
that
things didn't work.
from early as when I was in middle school, right? We were already drawing up plays of the other team. Like that's always been football. Like the scouting has always been pretty good where you basically know the other team's plays. And there's going to be a handful of things where they're going to throw at you that's going to be different just because the offense evolves over the year or whatever. But for the most part, you know the other team's plays.
It's not about knowing the plays. It's about knowing the players.
It is about play recognition because
No, not
75% of the
what I'm
plays are
talking about.
rerun.
I'm saying that like you have every single play where every single player is at every single moment of the game. There's a lot of information in that you can use like computers to break down and see if you
But
can
you don't think that's
generate-
what coaches are doing when they're watching film?
It is what they're doing. I'm not saying stop watching film. I'm saying that they're not using this extra data that they have. And what you're saying is, oh, it's not useful. It's redundant. So, but
I'm saying
that's
they've
the mindset that I'm saying is why they're not using it.
No,
And there's a lot of
that's
information
not exactly
there,
what I'm
and-
saying. I'm saying the reason why I got to that point is because I think they tried to use some of that analytics and they realized you can only do so much with it. Yes, there's going to be things you can pull from it, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, I'm saying you can't get anything from it, but I just don't think it has that much of effect to actually getting that to winning a game or
Sure, it can.
making the playoffs or winning the Super
Even
Bowl.
more so than that, it should help you build a roster. You should be able to see things and learn things about players that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do just by watching film. Because film is like two-dimensional. It's a single angle. You don't really get like a full like perspective of like how far apart people actually are, how fast people are moving, how people are moving relative to one another. Like those sorts of things you could parlay into like really detailed information about like the individual players. Like even on your own team, you could use it to scout your own team to see like who does what well, who doesn't do things well. Like why did that break down? Why? Because like
Isn't that what
film
Catapult
like,
is?
Huh?
I think that's exactly what Catapult is. It's
I don't
like
know what
that little
Catapult is.
vest that they put on people where they can track everything that you're talking about.
Yeah, but it doesn't show you relative to other people. Like
I think it can.
Well, but that's what I'm talking about. They collect the data of every single player in like multiple coordinate. Like I think it's 3-dimensional. Like you get X, Y, and Z, so you can plot it out. Like you can actually see how physically far apart people are at all times. Like, and you don't even have to watch it. Like you could just like crunch numbers on like every single play that like an individual player was involved in and like get information from it without having to watch it, right? It's like a shortcut. It's good, and it's going to show you things that you can't see from film. Is it a replacement for film? No. If you do it well, could it give you an advantage and win some games? Yes. Both from like a roster building perspective, scouting your players, figuring out who's good, who's not good, and like doing like backwards scouting of people. Like you can like see things, right?
Pretty sure they're already doing that.
I don't think they're doing it well.
Who?
Well, I don't think Madden's using it, and I don't think that the NFL's using it.
But how can you get that? How could you have that opinion when you don't even have the data? Maybe they are doing it well, and maybe we're wrong because we can't see the data.
Well, I'm saying you're wrong, so at least I'm half right.
Wait, what? I'm just saying there's a lot of assuming going on. Like, they could just be. I think that's the thing. I think they are using that type of data.
I don't think they are.
I think they are. I think they have. Or I shouldn't say that they are. I just know that data should be available.
That you could maybe convince me might look at that stuff would be like Lou Anarumo, but I doubt even he looks at it. I think they're all just they're all old school. They want to watch film. They want to do it the way they always do it. I mean, I just don't think that they are receptive to like computer people.
I disagree.
Obviously, it's all speculation.
I disagree because the way they develop their social media team.
Oh my gosh. What does that have to do with like data analytics?
Because social media should not be that important. But the fact that they have a full-on social media team.
The social media team has nothing to do with the coaching staff.
What? No, let me correlate the two. The point I'm saying is if they're willing to spend money on something that's trivial like that, then I would have to imagine they probably spend money to the things that you're talking about.
I'm not saying
that would be my assumption.
Money on it. I'm not saying that they don't have a computer guy who like has an office at the stadium who crunches numbers and comes up with things. And I think like he gives it to whoever his boss is.
You just said that you don't think the Bengals have anyone that does that. Like you refuse that to, or you said that you didn't think anyone in the Bengals would know how to do that or look at that.
Would know how to use it. Yes.
I think the new offensive coordinator, like the quarterback coach, I think probably Callahan. I think Zach Taylor. I think all the younger coaches
aren't even on the staff anymore.
Well, he was, but what I'm saying is, I think all the younger people. I think Lou might be a little bit older, but the younger people use all that stuff.
None of these guys know how to do any of that crap. They're just football guys.
If you're just talking about looking at the data,
yeah, and doing something with it. That's going to be the disconnect because, like, the football
I just
guy
feel like you keep moving
the
field goal
data analytics guy.
It's like you keep on adding like all these little things into like. Hold up. I thought we were talking about like they would hire someone out to actually do all that manipulation that you're talking about that they can't do. Fine, whatever. They could probably figure it out. I don't think they're dumb people, and I don't think it's that difficult to figure out. A, but B. The point is that I'm pretty sure they're looking at that data. Like I'm like 85% sure that they have that data that you're talking about. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen an episode of Hard Knocks where the players are going through their tablets at home and they're like literally clicking on every single play. Like, oh, look at my speed. Look at this. Like they literally have all that data that you're talking about. Everything you're talking about, they have it already. I'm pretty sure it's Catapult that's doing all that, because like they wear these vests and they have like this. That's how they track them.
Yeah, I thought it was just image processing.
No, because like they get more information because they make them wear that stuff in practice, so they get like additional information, and they track all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean I think that there's more that can be done with that, and I don't think they're doing it.
But what more could they do? And who are you talking about specifically? The whole NFL or just...
Yeah, the whole NFL.
Okay. I think that's the problem. I think they're all doing it, and then some teams just do it better. Right?
Well, maybe.
I think that's probably what's going on. But what do you think that they could do better?
I think that there are like probably geometric patterns of like players relative to one another on the field that could be predictive or descriptive in some way that they're not really using at this point in time.
Okay, well, I feel like you should look into that because maybe that's something you could sell to the NFL.
Maybe we should just start doing it, huh? We gotta get the data though. You have to have the data.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think
because I looked into it because I remember there was like every once in a while you can get a few plays. Like
yeah, it's next gen.
Yeah, next gen will show you like the plays mapped out where they show like the players' numbers and they show them moving around, and it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, because
right?
I think it's Thursday Night Football that does it. No. Wait, does Amazon do Thursday? It's the Amazon
yeah,
games.
I think it's Amazon. Yeah,
because
so,
I remember watching
cool.
it, and they do it after each play. Like if you're watching online and they have the play, you can you can click on it and you can see everything that you're talking about, like the patterns that they run.
I watched that and I was like, oh, that'd be cool if we could get that data because we could do like animations with it and other stuff. But then like from a team perspective, I think that you could do a lot with that. And like the information that you see published is all very simplistic, and to your point, maybe like they just don't share that with the public, but like just top speed and those sorts of things, that's cute, but I don't think that's as useful as
Well, speed is always important because of matchups. You would never put a certain player on someone if you know they can just get outright burnt. Because
but I mean, I think you could I think you learn a lot about like kind of like intangible football IQ kind of stuff. I think you can learn a lot about players, like people who like for instance, like on defense, I feel like you could learn a lot about like individual like guys in the secondary, in particular like safeties or whatever, because you would have the information of all the movements of the players on the field. You would have it time wise, right? So then you can map it to like when the ball's thrown or when certain things happen, and you can see like you could gain additional information on players. And then if you figured out a way of like, say, measuring like an individual thing, right? Like say like you watch the dots moving on the field and you're like, oh, well, I wonder how well this safety reacts to the ball being thrown, right? So then you would just say, okay, well, when was the ball thrown? Oh, this point in time, right? What were the routes? And then like, what does the player do, right? And then you could develop some sort of like reaction time stat, right? But then if you figure out how to calculate it once, well, now you can apply it to all the similar situations, right? So now you could look at everybody's. And then once you do that, then you could be like, well, what if, how did I make it work for this one instance? And then, after some work, you could figure out how to calculate that metric for every play, right? And then you could like record that metric for every single play of a certain type, right? Applied to every single player over every single game over a season, and then you plot or you rank everybody out in that thing that you saw, right? But now you've applied it systemically to like every single game, and now you could spit out and you'd be like, oh, hey, this guy's really good at the thing that I care about, right? And you could just, once you establish those patterns and those ways of detecting it, you could find things. Whereas like to do it the other way, you'd literally have to watch like everybody's game film, right? Whereas this way, it would give you clues as to like, hey, here's how I rank people. Like, oh yeah, number one, like if you're ranking receivers, number one's like Tyreek Hill, and number two is like, Jefferson, then Jamar Chase, and then like some guy that you didn't really know much about pops up somewhere in the rankings where he doesn't belong. That would signal to you, oh, flag this. Now let's watch and see if what we predicted matches what we see. And like then you could build advantages like that, right?
Yeah, I just feel like they kind of already do that already, but
no, I think they just do it the old school way of just like, churn and burn, like watch.
Yeah, everything. But I think the problem about what you're talking about is that just because because the NFL is a copycat league, and they adjust really quickly because of that. And just because something works a few times doesn't mean it's always going to work. Because there's going to be some type of reaction to it.
I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying that you could figure out ways of evaluating plays and players and teams on like a large scale and flag yourself to look into the things in detail, right? Like they would give you an advantage. Just it would be a time savings thing.
Right, which I think that's what they're already kind of doing when it comes to like, because I'm pretty sure they track the separation one way or another, because throughout the year they'll say like this receiver is number 1 in separation, or like this quarterback has the worst receiver separation rate or whatever, because it's like I mean, they're tracking it somehow.
Yeah, and I think it's like coming from. I don't think it's coming from the team. I think it's coming from the data provider. Like, hey, here are ways for you to look at this stuff, right? I don't think it's coming the other way, where like someone's like, hey, what if we look at it this way? What could we do with it, right? I think right now it's treated like like kind of like a new fandangled fatty kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like, well, we don't know if they're doing it to the extent that you're talking about already. They could be doing it already, and like I said before, it could just be all the teams are doing it, and it just comes down to which handful of teams know how to process the data better. Could be that, or or like you're saying, they probably could just do it better, which I refuse to believe, because I think the NFL or football in general is always about winning. So any advantage that you can get, you're gonna do it.
If you
even if it's data, huh?
Yeah, I don't think so.
100%. That's always been football.
They reject data.
No, they deflate footballs. They overwater fields. They turn on music. They put microphones in people's locker rooms. The NFL will do anything to win. So to totally disregard data, I highly doubt that.
Like, yeah, they totally do.
I doubt it.
They do. They admit they do. Like when
How so?
People crunch numbers and they talk about win expectancy and like making decisions. There are a lot of coaches that flat out say that's stupid. I don't do that. I go by my gut.
And I've heard where Zach Taylor said that he takes the analytics into consideration.
Yeah, but that's not how you do it.
Well, but that's what coaching is that
I look at the data and I ignore it and I just do what I feel like doing. That's different than I use it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know the Bengals use it. I know there's other teams that use it.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't think they use it effectively.
I think what I'm trying to suggest is that the NFL is more than just looking at numbers, or like it's more than that. It's like an emotional sport. There's like an element that you can't really measure.
Yeah, and that's the excuse they use for ignoring data, and I think that's the mentality that is.
It's a real thing
from really analyzing.
Put it this way: Michael Irving said that when they were really good on the Cowboys, he said every team knew the plays that they were going to run, but they still ran them anyways because they were just better. And that's part of it, is that some teams just have better players, and they just and I think football has always been a game of mismatches and trying to find the weakest link of that opposing team, whether it's offense or defense. Where can you expose their offense or defense? And I think that's really what it comes down to. I mean, you can look at numbers all you want, but there's like an emotion behind the game that you can't really. And I think that's just like the human element and that's why a head coach is necessary, is that they're able to get a whole bunch of people to accomplish one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're expressing the exact mentality that I think means that they're not using the information in a useful way.
But the way you're painting it is
I haven't said anything about there isn't emotion and the players don't matter.
And I haven't said anything that they wouldn't use the data. I'm suggesting that they've used the data and they can only get so much with it.
No, I don't think so. Not really. Not in a meaningful way. Because
I don't know how you can get
what
that.
I would expect to see is someone doing something different.
Like how so?
You know, like anytime you see a shift, like with the Cowboys, right? Why were the Cowboys so good? Because Jimmy Johnson he shifted from getting the biggest, strongest guys he could find to getting fast guys. So like they had a smaller, fast defense, and they prioritized speed. Like the Chiefs, right? They prioritize acceleration, right? And that's what caused them to have an advantage, right? So you would expect if someone were to do something unique with the data, that they would do something that no one else is doing and then be successful in a way that nobody else can copy for like some period of time, right? Like they would have like
I guess where I get confused is like, how can you determine that they're not using it in a meaningful way? I just don't understand how you can.
Because I don't think they do. Because anytime you hear a coach talk about like analytics, first of all,
see, I hear the opposite. Like the things that you're describing, I hear the opposite. It sounds like they try to use it, but they don't get much results from it. So that you can only use it for so much.
That's what I mean. Because they're not being.
So if they're not getting results for it, so you're just assuming that they don't know how to use it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I feel like that's. I don't know, but I think we fundamentally always. I get it. Football people are dumb. We don't
in general.
And I don't even consider myself like I'm just a fan. Like, but
yeah,
I played with football, or I played football, and like I just don't think people are that dumb. Like I don't know. Like I think a lot of it is just effort.
I don't think they know how to do things outside of football, and to make use of like the vast amounts of data that they're collecting requires you to have a background other than what almost every single person in football has, right?
I just feel like this is crazy talk. I feel like you're assuming a lot. Like you don't even know these people. You don't even know what they're doing behind the doors. Like,
name a head coach that has a background in data analytics. Name a head coach that has a background in like engineering. None of them.
Wait, what? What does engineering have to do with data analytics?
Because those are people who are trained to deal with numbers and data and apply it in a useful way.
Okay. So
like that's why I'm saying that's why I assume that they don't know how to do it. Because
I think this is like a superior, like
it's not superior.
Yeah, it is. Like but I don't.
It's like a cross-functional thing.
I think this is where we fundamentally disagree. Like I don't think people are that stupid. Again, I think it's just effort.
They're untrained. I mean, if you want to use a different word, they're untrained and they don't know how to use the information that's being developed right now.
Okay, that's why I feel like this is just a weird conversation, because I feel like we're constantly talking about different things. Because it's like you'll say, well, they don't know how to do it, and then I'll say, well, they'll just hire someone to do it, and then you'll say, well, then they just don't know how to analyze the analytics because they're not getting results.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't just hire somebody to do something that you don't know what to do with. Right?
But the analytics that you're talking about is like, it's like literally just having someone put numbers like, oh, separation. Why wouldn't you hire?
It's more foundational than that. It's more fundamental than that.
Like what?
Know how to use it.
Like what?
Like TBD. I don't know. There's lots of stuff.
Like you're saying all this stuff, but you're not giving like actual like real life applications. Like you're just saying stuff. But again, I think they're already doing what you're talking about. That's what's so weird about this, is that like I feel like they're literally doing what you're talking about. And
yeah, I don't feel like they are. The way it reads to me is they got a guy who sits in the back office somewhere, and he spits out like these numbers, and he hands it to the head coach in a book, and the head coach looks at it, and he's just like, okay.
I'm going to tell you right there,
it.
like for the most part, like an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, as soon as they see the players run on the field and they see the formation, they almost know what play is going to be happening.
I'm not talking about predicting plays.
Yeah, you are. You were saying finding people that are exceptional at doing a certain thing, right?
Okay.
What would make someone do something exceptional at a certain thing? It's mismatches.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Mismatches.
Like, I don't know. Like, anyways, T. Higgins signed his.
So he's got some more money coming to him, huh?
I'm really hopeful because I don't know. I get a sense that kind of like what you were talking about before, that you gotta sign Chase first to see where the, I guess, cookie crumbles. And I think it was a gesture for him to sign early the tender.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to be involved with the team activities. I think it was just a nice gesture because like he could have held out like Bates did, which would have been totally understandable or whatever. But I think, I don't know. I think I think there is a reasonable shot that he could get extended around the same time that Chase does. Because once you figure out Chase, then you can figure out Higgins, and it'd be a lot easier to meet in the middle once you actually have that number.
Yeah, it's a mutually beneficial thing, too, because it's like the more Higgins buys in, the better his chances are of having a good year, right? And I guess, like, offense, right? It's like the better you are, like, the better everybody else does, right? It's not like a zero-sum game. Like, if you're good offense, if you're good enough, like, everybody can get good stats, right? And they've already done it before. They've already had years where Chase and Higgins had like big stats and played well. I mean, so it's good. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's good all the way around because it shows that they believe that they're good. And they believe that they have a chance of winning, and I think that to me that signals that, right?
Yeah, it seems like there's optimism throughout the locker room as far as how well they're going to do and expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think last year kind of felt the same way, where it was like, hey, if everyone stays healthy, they have a really good shot of possibly making the Super Bowl or getting close. But this year feels a little bit different because I guess, or I mean, it feels the same in the sense that the Super Bowl is realistic. But I think it's more of a quiet confidence, I guess. It's more, and I think more people are like, I guess they're ready for business. Like I think part of it was that obviously Burrow got hurt, T. Higgins got hurt, and he's wanting a big contract. I mean Burrow. I mean, they all want to perform really well. Burrow's Burrow. So, and I just think the way they handled the off season. I just think they added so much more depth. Like, I think maybe we got a little bit better overall starting wise. Because I think defensive tackle, maybe like when it comes from like what DJ Reader did, yeah, we got a little bit worse, but we also got a little bit better as far as like interior pass rush. Actually gotten a lot better.
Well, it depends on what you mean by better or worse, right? I mean, if you compare it to last year, Reader was hurt a lot of the year. So if you get
that's true.
A slightly worse player, right, but plays every down, or you know what I mean? Like if like, you know, if we were doing Madden rating analogy, if like Reader was like a 95 and you replace him with an 85, but that 85 plays like you have 85 level production all games, as opposed to like a 95 for like 6 games, and then the other 8 games you have a guy who's like in the 70s. Like, even though you're not as good as you would be if Reader played the whole year. Well, Reader didn't play the whole year last year, and there's no guarantee they would have played the whole year this year. So you can still improve over last year, even if the guy isn't like as, you know, top end wise as good as Reader, right? And they have two guys, right, that can generate that kind of production, right? Because they drafted Jenkins and that guy from Texas A&M. So if those two guys can combine and be better than the combination of Reader and, you know, whoever his backup was that we plugged in there last year, you could still conceivably be better.
Well, yeah, and then that goes kind of back to what I was saying as far as depth, because I feel like they have a lot of good depth rotational pieces to where people are going to be a little bit more fresh throughout the year, and then if someone does get hurt, it's not going to be as that big of a deal. Because I think our depth, especially at defensive tackle last year, was pretty bad, and I think, you know, just watching McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins and seeing their film. I mean, when it comes from like the pass rush point of view, I was a little bit underwhelmed with Chris Jenkins. But then once I found out like his specialty was run stopping, like that made me really happy. And then just, I don't know, we both like Jackson. So, I mean, that was a win.
I'm definitely higher on McKinley Jackson than I am on Chris Jenkins. Although, like, I acknowledge that Jenkins is probably the far better prospect. But I have high hopes for McKinley Jackson.
Well, that's the thing. I think if they're because they're going to have Jackson, Jenkins, Rankins. That was the guy that we signed in the offseason, and BJ Hill, and I like Sample as another rotational piece. I feel like he goes in as tackle and defensive end. He kind of does a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
I think,
and maybe Murphy takes a step forward, and then like all of a
Murphy,
sudden, like maybe your defensive line is better, right?
Well, I mean,
you would expect Murphy to get better in year 2.
Well, just specifically like the interior defensive line. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, I think because I was never really worried about the defensive ends. I feel like if they can just stay healthy, they'll be fine. I think that was part of the problem last year. I guess that's true with any position, but
it's football, right? If your starter is healthy all year, you're good.
But the thing is that Murphy, he was really coming along towards the end of the year. Like, I think he started out slow, but I think part of it too is that when you already have two really established defensive ends that get a lot of snaps. I mean, oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. The defensive end from Cincinnati, Hubbard. Hubbard like never leaves the field, right? And like I think he played a lot injured last year too, supposedly. So getting him back fully healthy, and then hopefully, because I do feel like this is going to be a little bit more of a turning of the guard for him. Hubbard.
But then again, it's like
because I feel like they're going to split.
It's all a combination though, right? Because like you feel like safety is going to be better this year than it was last year. So if you improve the back end, then that's going to help your defensive ends, right?
Yeah.
So it all works together, and you know, like we said, like the number one free agent a few years ago was our guy, right?
Who?
Oh, who's the safety that came back?
Oh, Bell.
Yeah, Von Bell.
Von Bell, yeah.
I mean, I think it's big that he's coming back.
Yeah, from a leadership perspective and just obviously ability, and then
I mean, I think he's a good player, but I think like obviously he knows the system,
right?
And having a good player who knows the system when the majority of your secondary is really young, I think that helps a ton. Whereas like last year, you have like a bunch of new guys and young guys, and I think that leads to confusion.
Yeah, I think that was
like your anchor back.
Part of the problem last year is that the secondary was probably a little bit too young. Like they just relied too much on speed, I think.
Yeah, well, you're right. But then, you know, again, like not to harp on the analytics, right? But like sometimes if you're fast and you go in the wrong direction, right? Like your spacing gets way off, right?
Right.
Like it's only good to be fast if you're running in the right direction.
Yeah, because if you're fast and running the wrong direction, then you're it makes it worse because you're moving faster than the wrong. Yeah. You the
gaps in the secondary get big. And I think there was some of that. last year. So even, again, like that's how like veterans make up for the fact that they're a little bit slower, is that they don't, their first step is always in the right direction because they know where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think his leadership, or him being able to mentor like Bell, or not Bell, or I'm sorry, Von Bell mentoring Battle, and some of the other younger safeties, because I feel like he should be back at the beginning of the year. I can't remember when he got hurt, but Tyson Anderson, I mean,
yeah, I was going to say Tyson Anderson.
Huh?
I said that's who I was going to say.
Oh yeah,
we're thinking the same thing.
Well, because like he had a really good preseason, and then I feel like, did he get hurt like in the first half of the season?
I don't remember. I just remember thinking
I feel like he did.
I was hoping he'd play more. He didn't.
Yeah, because he's like fast. He's electric. You can see it on the field, and he got hurt in that game. I think he tore his ACL, and he like somehow finished the game, which is like incredible. Like he was playing through a torn ACL or something like that. I was like, that's insane. Hopefully he didn't mess anything up too bad, but yeah, he should be back this year. I don't know if he'll start on the PUP or not, or on IR. I feel like no, I think he'll be ready by the beginning of the year. I think it's DJ Ivy is the one I'm thinking of. I think he got hurt late in the year. And actually, that rookie that we drafted from, I think, TCU, I think he had a little bit of buzz. I'm not sure in training camp, probably in OTAs.
Yeah, I mean, I heard some talk about it. I don't know, man. I've lived through so many like drafts where like, oh yeah, our 6th round pick is going to be amazing. It's just like, okay, we'll see.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that especially from the second cornerback position, we don't need them to be amazing. We just need them to be a little bit better than average, like.
Yeah, but I mean, to pick a guy in the 6th round of the draft to be like better than average in the NFL, that's a big ask.
I feel like DJ Ivy was headed that route. Like,
was he a 6th round? I thought he was a higher pick. I thought he was like a 3rd or 4th.
No, I think he was a 7th round pick. No, he was a 6th or 7th.
Yeah,
but I think what works well with him was that he was fast and he's got like a lot of length, like long arms. I think Newton's a little bit different because he's more of like a physical type safety, I thought, or I feel like, or actually, I think when we looked it up, he was pretty good at zone. But if he can get his hands on you, like he could be disruptive. Like if he's gonna do the jamming, like at the line of scrimmage, if they play press or whatever, he might be decent at that.
Yeah,
but I think he might surprise a lot of people throughout the season.
I don't know. They just need Mike Gesicki to start dating Beyonce or something, so we can get some extra
I don't know if you can date Beyonce, but
sure he can. Why can't he?
Because she's married to Jay-Z. I think that'd be
okay. Name another.
I mean,
pop
they
star.
could, but I think that would cause more problems.
I don't know. 99 problems, perhaps.
But Gesicki's not one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I just feel like if they fix the offense, if the offense gets back to being explosive, then the defense will fall in line. You know what I mean? Like the offense was just like stuck in mud for so much of last season.
What's up, Dustin? Excited about Newton when the Bengals drafted him. Will Blackman said that he was sneaky good. Will was a great player in his own right back in the day. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I heard too when he was first drafted. Like I don't know too much about him. I just saw that he pressed Chad Johnson, and I was pretty impressed with that. Chad Johnson trying to line up on it.
What year Chad Johnson? I mean, come on, he's old now.
It's still Chad Johnson.
People covering Chad Johnson.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I get it. he's on the older end, but I don't know, man. It was still pretty impressive. Like if you just obviously Chad Johnson's he's not in his prime or whatever, but he's still really quick. Like, I would say he's still like
how many yards do you think he would get if he played a season in the Big 12? Like right now, like if
Chad Johnson
somehow magically he was able to get like eligibility to play for a season in the Big 12. Do you think he would be like all conference? Would you think he would do like I don't even know how old he is now. How old do you think he is right now?
probably like 38.
38. Yeah, so we'll just say 38-year-old Chad Johnson in the Big 12. What do you think he's going to do? What kind of stats?
I would say 600 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Okay, so he's like the number 3 receiver of like a good Big 12 team. Okay, I'm just saying, I hope Newton's good, but I mean, like, you see where he's drafted. I know, like, people were talking about how he was supposed to be like a first or second round. He would have been a first or second rounder had he went in the draft 2 years ago. I mean, I hope everybody else is right. I don't know. I'm not saying I know. I'm just saying that, like,
Oh, whoa. Okay, my bad. Chad is 46. Holy shit. Okay, never mind. I did not realize he was that old. Okay. Okay, yeah, maybe that wasn't as impressive as I thought. Okay.
Okay. I mean,
Damn.
Remember when he raced that horse?
He just looks so young. Like, he does not look like he's 46.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from him, but at the same time, I mean, I would be more worried if the guy couldn't guard Chad Johnson because
I should have known that because like he was one of my favorite players in high school. For me to think he's like around the same age as me, I'm like, that's crazy.
I went with it too, so I can't beat you up too much about it. But
I think part of it is
just
that
the point being that like
yeah, I know he plays a lot of soccer still. That I mean, obviously that's a lot different than the professional NFL, or playing professional football. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the corners are the only thing that I'm kind of concerned about, but overall, depth-wise, I think we're in a lot better position than what we were last year. Seems like they filled up a lot of holes. And then in what we were originally talking about this, I guess in the segment with T coming back,
yeah,
it's a pretty big deal.
800 extra pounds of offensive tackle. I mean, those are the things that are going to make you win. And then, if your corners give up some points, okay. I mean, if the offense is right and can score touchdowns, like, like the explosive plays went away last year, right? It was a grind.
I think with the way they kind of rotated things with their defensive backs, I actually think they're going to throw a lot of wrinkles out there on defense, especially with Lou. Because I feel like they can do some different, like create a lot of different looks. Because if you move Dax Hill to corner, I mean, that's what they're trying to do right now. I feel like he's kind of like a joker player on the defense. Well, when it comes to DBs, I don't think he'll ever play on the defensive line, but I think you can hide a lot of things. Burrow had some positive thoughts on Shedrick Jackson speed. Yeah, didn't he have that one-handed catch in training camp? It was like a crazy pass and catch. It's like he threw
Shedrick Jackson.
I think he's number 18.
I mean, like, where'd he come from?
I want to say I might have to look it up. Okay. He's either a second or third year player.
Oh, okay. I don't remember the name.
I feel like he was drafted 2 years ago. Or not, I'm sorry, he wasn't drafted. I think he was a college free agent.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just going to look it up now. But the thing I was going to mention about, I think we should probably talk about Karras first before we get into training camp.
Karras.
I'm just yeah.
hey, offensive line, man. Sign offensive lineman. I'm all for it.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, since Burrow's been here, right? Karras, I know he hasn't been here the whole time Burrow's been here, but most of it.
Mhm.
He's been the most consistent offensive lineman that Burrow's had.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, he means a lot. He came from Georgia.
Oh,
Was Dustin? Do you know? I'm pretty sure he was a college free agent. I mean, he had to be, because I don't remember him being drafted at all. So, but
Yeah.
I do feel like it was 2 years ago.
I guess I could Google it instead of making you do all the work.
But yeah, no, having Karras back and then adding Trent Brown plus drafting Mims, I think it's going to go a long way. And I guess it kind of goes back to that quiet confidence. Oops, I got to change views. Okay, yeah, it's the second year. 24. Oh, so he's still relatively young. Actually, yeah, he's still pretty young because I want to say a lot of the players that the Bengals have drafted the last couple of years, I feel like are like older.
Okay. Says he went to Auburn. Bio. There we go. First season of Auburn.
Wait, is this
Is
the
he
guy that runs a
undrafted?
4.2?
I don't know.
I think it is because I think we talked about it last year.
So this is his first season?
I think because they're still on last year.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
fairly confident he ran. Well, I know Dustin said he was fast, but I think we looked this up last year. Dustin says, "Yeah, Auburn, my bad." It's okay, Dustin.
talking
Let's
about
just
the
make sure
same
it doesn't
guy.
happen again. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean you're
Auburn,
fitting in.
Georgia,
You're
basically the
fitting
same
in.
thing.
If you want to contribute, you gotta get things wrong.
Yeah, we're not the greatest with names.
Names and dates we struggle with. Let's see. Undrafted 2023.
Because I remember you talking about like we just need a really fast guy
Yeah.
to run down the field, and I remember looking it up. I was like, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he's related to Bo Jackson, man.
what?
Yeah. A great
That's pretty
nephew
cool.
of Bo Jackson.
He's got some good genes.
Yeah. So do you think Newton could guard Bo Jackson?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, here's his stats at Auburn. 22 he had. All right. Yeah, 4.31 40.
4-3-1. Okay, that's still fast. It's really fast. I think that's slightly faster than Jamar Chase's. He's
13 reps on
6'1".
the bench press.
I feel like it's pretty good for a receiver.
Now I was thinking like if I did a combine, like where would I be? And I think I would be like
For bench press?
just in general. Like yeah, I think I would my strength would be like a wide receiver or like a punter. You know what I mean? Except
Well, how much can you
punters,
bench 225?
I don't know. I did 235 like 11 times today. It was pretty no, I did 10 times, but it was pretty easy.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So with adrenaline, you could probably do it like 15 times.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, or if I trained like for real, right? I mean, not like over months, but like if you practiced a few times, had strategy, and had like somebody yelling at you, yeah, maybe more. I think it's just having somebody yelling at you, like do it again, right?
Yeah. Well, that and like when you're competing in like in a full room like that, I think there is like an adrenaline
Yeah,
jump that helps you
I
out.
don't think I would still get out of the receivers or punters. Even with all
Punters
that,
can
you know.
bench that much?
Yeah,
That's kind of
punters are, like,
impressive.
crazy. Like if you look at like bench press for like the top punters.
We're loaded at receiver though. Also brought back Kendrick Pryor. We go deep. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about receivers. And then if you think about like the tight ends too, I mean Gesicki with Hudson and
about college, man. Who's Pryor?
Kendrick Pryor.
Yeah,
I feel like he went to Louisville for some reason. I could be way off on that.
So we're talking Bengals. Okay.
Yeah.
Boop.
No, I feel like he's a bit older though.
26.
Yeah. Because he was fringe for a little while in the Bengals, and then I think he got picked from our practice squad and went to the Jags last year.
Yeah. Well,
oh no,
I'm
it
not
only
worried
says,
about the
so this is
receivers.
his third season.
I'm worried about. Actually, I'm not worried about anything. I think the Bengals are.
No, he went to Wisconsin. Okay,
I think they're good to go.
I got the red right. Yeah, I mean, really, it just comes down to obviously keeping Burrow healthy.
Yeah, so
and
it's
then,
just like keep signing offensive linemen. If
but
there's
I mean,
decent
really,
offensive linemen out there that we can afford, sign them.
I feel like really the I don't know if I'm saying this. I think the dark horse is really because, like, say if the offensive line is as good as what we think they could be, right? And he gets that extra half a second or second more. Like that's where it's going to get dangerous. Because if you give Burrow that much more time, I mean, he's going to find someone open. So it's like it's only. I mean, our offense could get really explosive just with the added speed that we added the last couple of years and the mismatches that could potentially happen, especially with T coming back for sure. Like there isn't going to be that mystery. I mean, it's such a big deal that he's signing now, and we're not like wondering all the way up to the season if like because it's like we were talking about before. There is that quiet confidence of like they all want to get to that Super Bowl and they know they have a legit shot. He is a fan favorite from preseason. He had a few years with us. Yeah. I feel like that's been the trend with the receivers like the last 5 or 6 years.
I mean,
or I feel like even with the Marvin Lewis, there's always like a receiver that goes undrafted that's always like on the fringe. Like when it comes to receivers, the Bengals are just really good at scouting them for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, even back to TJ Hushmanzada.
I mean, it goes all the way back. I feel like even to like the 80s, if you think about it, right?
I'm thinking about it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they've always been pretty decent at drafting running backs and receivers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing a lot of buzz with Chase Brown lately. Like he's another candidate for like a breakout season.
Yeah.
He was actually at the San Francisco game. That would have been one of the better games to go to. Their fans were impressed. That was at the time our defense was actually playing decent. Yeah, that was. I feel like that was the turning point, or could have been one of the turning points. Like because Burrow had a really good game. He had that crazy. Like where he escaped that sack, and then he threw for that first down. That was pretty crazy. But like that to me was like a top 10 play for the Bengals. Like it was such a crazy play. But no, I feel like the Bengals look so dominant against the San Francisco 49ers last year, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know. I mean, they made it to the Super Bowl, and I mean, if you look at San Francisco's roster, they're like loaded. With like, that would have been an interesting team to look at as far as ratings because I feel like out of all the teams, they probably should have that on average the highest rated players if you just go from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, the way we played against them was just phenomenal. But I think that's the thing with Burrow is that like. He just knows how to score. So, like, I think it always puts the other team kind of on edge. So, the other team's defense, I should say.
Yeah.
And then it puts a lot of pressure on that other team's offense to score, too. So, I think that's the thing.
He's the type of player where if you're an opponent, you want to be up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. Because if you're up by a score or less in the fourth quarter, then the opponent feels like the Bengals are going to. We feel like the Bengals are going to win. If Burrow has the ball in the fourth quarter and we need to score to win, then we feel like we're going to win. That's just like the difference with Burrow.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially with the kicker we have too, because it's like
he's only a 78.
Oh, Madden, that's crazy.
Or
Yeah,
68 or whatever he was.
Yeah, because I would imagine Tucker's probably the highest rated kicker.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, he should be at least at 90. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Burrow with 19 straight completions. Yeah, no, that was definitely one of his better games. He picked a great game to go to.
Yeah, we picked the game that was after he got hurt, which was not a good one.
That's yeah. Like all the people that could get hurt, right? It had to be Burrow. It's like you can kind of anyone else, even if it was Chase, you can kind of like, okay, like it sucks, but yeah, Burrow was, and then it was just like Browning didn't. It was almost like the Steelers caught him off guard or something. Like it just didn't seem something seemed off that game when it came to the Bengals offense, and then run defense was just so bad. Because I think was that the game that Reader got hurt too against the Steelers, or was that before that?
I don't remember. I just remember them running the ball nonstop.
Yeah. He either got hurt that. No, it had to be before that game because I remember him getting hurt while I was watching it on TV. Yeah, or maybe it was the week after. I don't know, but no, because that was in November, and I feel like Reader got hurt more towards like midseason. I feel like he got hurt like a few weeks after Burrow. But training camp. I guess the thing about training camp, or at least what I've been hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's several things I've noticed. Mims.
He
seems to be
camp? Like training camp's like in August, right?
No, I think training camp just happened.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm calling it wrong. No, I think it is training camp because no. I honestly forget.
Okay, sorry. I was being an asshole and I really just
You're not being an asshole. I could be saying it wrong. I'm pretty sure it was training camp that happened last week.
Okay, but what's your point? Which point? Let's get to the point.
Well, the point is Mims. It seems like he's fitting in really well. Like I feel like the culture in the locker room is really nice because from like the few rookies I've heard speak or talk in interviews, they seem like when it comes to like the veterans, they're very welcoming and like they're actually trying to like teach them to whereas sometimes you can get in situations where veterans won't really help out the rookies because it's kind of like a competition thing and it's like why would I help them out type deal. But
I want to see like Trent Brown and Orlando Brown and Amaris Mims like hit up like a buffet somewhere, like just like all three of those dudes like just put some. Well, hopefully it's like a corporate place. I don't want to put like a mom and pop out business, but like like maybe put big hurt on some like
That's what the PFF guy said.
What's that?
Like what you're talking about. He went to see because he's also it's like the taller guy. I forget his name. He's like 6'7" too.
Yeah.
But they were talking about getting like those three and him in a buffet.
Yeah.
And just like seeing how much they can eat or who can eat the most.
Yeah.
But that would be pretty interesting. Felt like we haven't actually played great run defense for like 2 years. The Ravens in the playoffs in 22 were averaging close to 5 yards a clip. So collectively, the defense has to play way better. Yeah, and I think that's another reason why I feel a little bit more optimistic about this year is because they have more pieces to actually stop the run, and you don't have to rely on Reader staying healthy. Well, I guess Reader was healthy all of 22 as well. Or was he? I know he got hurt 2 of the 4 years where he missed like 6 or 8 games in each of the seasons. Because like he tore one of his didn't he tore his quad on the one side, like his one leg, and then this past year he tore the other one. It's kind of like
I don't
a.
know. I'm not a doctor.
I feel like I don't know. It was just like a weird thing, but yeah, no, I agree. The run defensive have been kind of well, definitely the weakness on the defense. It's always been like, because I feel like 2 years ago, because like yeah, I think Reader was actually healthy 2 years ago, like the whole year. Because I feel like we were pretty solid up the middle, and I feel like the other teams were getting us a few years back was on the edge. It just seemed like if they could get to the edge, they were going to break like a 10 or 15 yard run. To whereas if like they try to go up the middle against Reader, they would get stopped at the line of scrimmage most likely. Maybe they get a yard or two.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like we have more pieces to specifically stop the run, which is I'm all for it. I think anyone that's been keeping up with the Bengals for a little bit know that that's one of our bigger weaknesses is the run stopping. And then I saw an interview with Jermaine Burton, and I'm pretty excited about him. I think he's got like a chip on his shoulder. So
yeah, we saw that watching the video, Alabama video, man.
Yeah, he was like, physical.
He'd hit you.
Yeah, I like that. He's kind of.
Yeah, no, I mean, even like when the Steelers used to have, what's his face? I was always jealous that we didn't have a receiver that would just go and just hit people going over the middle.
Which receiver?
The guy who took out Keith Rivers.
Ward.
Yeah, Hines Ward. Yeah. Like, I feel like he's got kind of like that Hines Ward edge to him. But I think he's like a much faster guy. More of a deep threat than Hines Ward. But, like, he's got a little bit of that grit to him.
Yeah, I feel like Tyler Boyd had that. But the way I look at it is that he's got like the same chippiness as Tyler Boyd, but just more explosive. So it's like, yeah, I mean, if Burrow has any time to throw it, there's going to be a mismatch. Like we did get pretty explosive on offense, like across the board the last couple of years. Because if you think about Chase Brown, like coming out of the backfield, whether it's like
Zach Moss. What about Zach Moss, man?
No, I like Zach Moss, but he's more of like the grinded out. Well, I mean, it's a different type of explosive, right? Like he's pretty good, like after contact.
He's implosive.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that Chase Brown, when you caught that pass and ran it for like 78 yards, like it was nothing. Like he's got that type of explosive, so it's like I don't know. It's gonna be pretty interesting.
I remember talking about it.
Burton's a dog. That Texas A&M game last year, he was cooking, just roasting 5-star corners. Yeah, that's another thing is that didn't Alabama have like 2 corners that were drafted in the first round or first and second? I think it was the first and second. So like he was going against them consistently. I think maybe Alabama's defense for the last, I guess ever since Saban's been there, they've always had basically an NFL roster on defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've had like a string of like whoever the best receiver from Alabama was like a first round guy.
Yeah, receivers and corners. Like I feel like.
Well, maybe but Burton was their best receiver this year, right?
Right.
And the Bengals got him in I can't remember, 3rd round, right?
This is the 3rd round, and I think a lot of it had to do with character issues or something to that extent.
But, yeah. Point being that, that's one guy that I'm optimistic about, despite draft position.
You're suggesting it's more of like a steal type thing, like we got really good value.
Yeah, well, but it's sort of like self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, there's a difference. If someone's drafted in the 1st round and you're like a bad team and you draft someone like the top 10 at receiver, like the guy's expected to be the guy, right? He's expected to be your number 1 receiver. But for the Bengals, like he's going to have to compete to be the number 3 receiver. He's going to have to, Like, he may not even be the starter at the beginning of the year. He might be behind Yoshivas or Charlie Jones, right? So
What if it's Irwin?
Hey, man, I like 7 yards.
Mr. 7 yards.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, you would think on the depth chart day one of training camp, they probably might put him behind Irwin. You know, he might be.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of those earn it type deals. But I don't know the way he's going about it. Like,
well, that's the thing, though. But that's what I mean, though. Like, it's like like if you got a guy that's, you know, got some character issues, like he's not being like, hey, here you're handed the number 1 job. It's sort of like, no, you're gonna have to earn the number 3 job, right? And that just puts you in a different position and a different mindset, right?
Yeah. No, it's gonna be interesting to see like what they do with Higgins for like the long term.
Yeah,
because
let's enjoy 24, man.
That's true. I'm just happy that there isn't going to be drama going into the season. I think we've already had enough drama
He's
in the
getting his money
offseason
for the year. I mean, we don't have to feel sorry for him. He's getting his, what did we say it was, 19 point something million?
No, I think it's like closer to 21.
21?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's earned it. I don't want to take it away.
Oh, yeah,
from
for
him,
sure.
Definitely not going to feel sorry for him. And I think regardless of what happens, he's going to make, you know, 50 million between this year and next year. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Off topic. We don't go off topic here.
Heard something crazy on PFF podcast. The position with the highest bust rate from 5-star recruits going to college is receiver. Just surprising because all these passing camps.
Yeah. I'm surprised that it's not quarterback. I feel like 5-star quarterbacks. But
because I think in high school, you can get away with just being really fast a lot. And then when it gets a little bit more physical in college, I think that messes people up. That would be my guess as to why there's such a, I guess, a not
high
successful
bust
rate.
I don't know.
A high bust
I would
rate.
guess that it's because they all go to the same schools. You know what I mean?
The 5-star receiver recruits.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it matters too who's throwing you the ball. That probably is another big factor. It probably matters more.
What I'm saying though is like if Georgia probably gets like 3 5-star receivers every year, or 2 5. Ohio State gets like 2 or 3 every year.
Yeah.
So it's like some of it might just be because you might be pretty good still, but Ohio State, like everybody's a 5-star. So you might not find the field, and if you don't play, I don't think you get better. Like I think you have to play in games to get better in college, and like you'd almost.
I think that's just true on any level.
Yeah, I mean, right, for sure, but like, so I think that like if you don't start right away and you're going to like an elite program as a 5-star, and then you're not getting that playing time, it's not like, oh, well, I'll wait until this guy graduates and then I'll be the guy, because like the next year they bring in like a fresh crop of new 5-stars, right?
Oh, and thinking about it too, I think offenses might be a little bit more complicated in the college too, going from high school to college.
Well, yeah, because like if you're like a 5-star guy in high school, like what, like 80% of your games you're playing against a guy who's like,
well, yeah, I mean, if you're
like
really
nowhere near your physical stature where you can just, I mean, it's like not even a challenge.
Plus, when you get to college, there's that aspect where other players catch up physically, because sometimes you might have an early growth spurt in high school versus college.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it too is just you can get away with just being really fast and tall, or whatever the case is in high school, and then once the game becomes a little bit more complicated and physical in college, I think that throws some people off. But yeah, you would think it'd be quarterback that would have.
That would have been my guess, but
because it's more complicated.
Surprised. I'm not disputing it. I would have guessed quarterback would be the higher washout rate, just because so many quarterbacks fail altogether. But maybe there just aren't that many 5-star quarterbacks.
Maybe it's because the quarterbacks go to receiver as a 5-star, and that's why they become a bust. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't understand what you said. I'm just nodding.
It's usually like a quarterback that's like athletic, like Dominic Goodman, right? He was a really good high school quarterback, but then when he went to college, they made him a receiver. That's probably a bad example because he wasn't a bust.
I wouldn't qualify him as a bust because I think he may still be like the leader, like of receptions at UC. He was for a time.
But yeah, no, that's just like I think the joke is that if you're not a good quarterback, or if you're not projected to be a quarterback at the next level, you somehow become a receiver.
Yeah, I think
it happens a lot.
I think Travis Kelce was a quarterback.
Yeah, there was a lot of, or maybe that's what it is. It's like you're a quarterback in high school, but then you just change positions. Maybe that's why there's less bust. So if you're like a really good quarterback, you're probably going to make it.
Gotcha.
Because
like
thinking about it,
physically gifted quarterback, then they'll find another spot for you because you learn so much about playing football. I guess I don't know, but yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is like
the top of my head.
Well, the best of the best quarterbacks are just going to be successful regardless, right? Because they're just really good. And then the ones that are kind of fringe, they just change positions. Quarterbacks, because like there was, it's almost like every other college or professional player at one point played quarterback. It really feels like that, or maybe not every other player, but like a third of the starters in the NFL.
Mims was a quarterback, right?
No, not Mims, but no, there. Who was it?
Imagine being like a high school player trying to sack him. Like you cover on the edge, you beat the left tackle, you get the Mims. You're like, now what? I got to tackle him.
That'd be interesting. But no, there's someone on the Bengals where I found out he was a quarterback in high school, and I'm like, what? I want to say it was Chase, but I don't think it was Chase. It was
Irwin?
No, not Irwin. I can't think of it.
Well,
it's gonna bug me now.
If I were to do another guess, I would go like Tanner Hudson.
No. It's a
starter.
starter.
Quarterback is overlapping a lot.
Wait, was Travis Kelce? You said he was a quarterback?
I think he was. I think he was a 0-star quarterback that went to UC.
And they knew he was going to be a tight end. That's weird.
How they just that. It was just. I mean, he's a big dude.
Right, but yeah, I guess.
I think. Now I'm feeling like maybe I'm misquoting someone.
Maybe I'm thinking of Logan Wilson.
I could see that but he's from Wyoming.
Yeah.
So you might have. I mean, some of those guys. Who was the guy that played for the Cowboys drafted that linebacker?
The what?
The linebacker, the Eschenberg. The guy that the Cowboys drafted a few years ago, the one we went to. He just retired this year. Anyways, I think he was from like Wyoming or Montana or something.
Huh.
And they said like he didn't even play 11-on-11 in high school. They played like 7-on-7 because they didn't have enough kids.
That's funny.
So because Logan Wilson went to Wyoming, I presume he's from somewhere. So he might have had to play quarterback because they didn't have enough dudes.
Yeah, that might be it too. Yeah, because like a lot of those, especially smaller schools, like they'll be like the quarterback and the punter and the linebacker. Like they play like really significant positions. You're like, what? Like,
yeah,
they have you playing all those important positions. Being a QB is the hardest job in sports. Like there might be only one QB from this draft that makes it. No, I agree. I want to be McCarthy. Yeah, I don't know who is going to be. It's always like a. But we were talking about that during the draft. It's like it's wild to see like teams put all that capital to trade up to get one of these players, and then on top of it to see like 6 of them go in the first 12 picks, knowing that like at best 3 of them are gonna like be successful. So yeah, it's like,
It's still the smart thing to do.
yeah, no, I get it because it's the money aspect.
Yeah, because quarterbacks make like what did
To be it like just
Trevor Lawrence signed like
yeah,
50 million a year.
that's crazy to me.
I'm just saying,
I
like
don't-
if Trevor Lawrence is 50 million a year, then yeah, keep drafting quarterbacks in the first round because like then at least you get 5 years where you get them for.
No, he
like,
got
10
the
million
Joe
a year.
Burrow contract. He makes 55 a year.
55 a year, same as
Yeah,
Joe Burrow.
same as Joe
guy,
Burrow.
right? Same guy.
I don't get that one. That one's kind of like it's kind of crazy to me. But I think for some of these NFL teams too, like if they're like 5 or like a few $1 million off per year, they're not going to sweat it. They're just going to give that guy the check because it's like they know it's just the first 3 years that's really truly guaranteed. So if they need to cut him, it's like
I don't know, man. I mean, because Trevor Lawrence is just long-haired Andy Dalton, right?
I don't think he's got. I don't know. I think from when I saw, his stats are very similar to. It was like a mid-range cornerback. I can't think of his name right now, but and we're like, oh, because like
Ryan Tannehill.
no, no. It's I mean a little bit above that. I don't. It's obviously not Jameis Winston, but it's like I don't know. It'll come to me eventually.
Jameis Winston, then actually probably not.
Well, I mean, just to be like in just an average, or let's just say slightly above average quarterback in the NFL, you're making at least 30 a year.
Apparently now you're making 55 a year.
Yeah, but I mean, they must see more in him than I guess the average NFL fan, because I think the general conception of him is that he's pretty much underperforming as a number 1 overall pick. So
Yeah. Well, then who else is bidding for his services? Hey, no, I guess I'm not gonna. Hey, yeah, Jacksonville, spend that money. We don't care.
yeah, doesn't hurt us any. I mean, if anything, it just makes Burrow's deal look a lot better when you see like Goff and him or Trevor Lawrence get close to.
Everybody hates on Goff. Goff isn't that bad. Like actually, Goff and Burrow have like very similar stats.
I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's as good as Burrow.
But stats wise, they have very similar stats. Yeah,
right.
They have very similar career peaks. Right? Because Goff lost in the Super Bowl as well.
Well, he was another number 1 overall pick, right?
It was the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
But
Trevor
I mean,
peaked
like,
his
the
freshman year.
Lions are good.
He's peaked his freshman year of college and replaced Taj Boyd. The Jaguars were probably like who we were gonna get better.
Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton. Get both of those guys, and then you have $48 million left over to get defensive ends.
I think where Trevor Lawrence gets the benefit of the doubt is that I think his surrounding cast probably could be a little bit better, and I think
it can't now because they don't have any money.
Well, I mean, I guess that's partly. Well, I mean, same thing with the Bengals, right?
No, because they got the guys already under contract and ready to go.
Yeah.
Like the Jaguars have guys there that they're paying money to, but they're not that good.
Yeah, because I want to say the Jaguars had like one of the highest drop pass ratings or something like that last year. So there was a lot of, I guess, hidden yards or whatever you want to call it. So I think from that perspective, but yeah, but I still wouldn't pay him the same as Burrow, though. That just seems kind of weird. But I guess it's just the market. They just assume that the salary cap is going to keep going up.
Some people have good agents.
Well, that and it's the Jaguars, so I feel like because that's another team that has like a multi-billion-dollar businessman owner. Because isn't that guy like from overseas that owns the Jaguars? Pretty sure it is. It's that That con guy.
What a con artist. No.
It's
I don't know, man. How good I don't know. I just remember him talking about like how he wanted the Jaguars to play a lot of games in London because he thought that the English fans would really like the team because they're the Jaguars, and it's a famous car brand in England. And I was just like, that's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
also they like guys with long blonde hair.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Beatles, right?
it'd be like if some like shitty soccer team from like England came to the U.S. and played games, and they were named like the Mustangs. They're like, oh, the Americans are gonna love this team because they're called the Mustangs, and they like Mustangs over there. It's just like, no, if they suck, nobody's gonna like them. Doesn't matter what you call them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's their problem. As long as they're happy, I'm just happy T's back. Well, officially back. I still feel pretty optimistic that Chase and T are going to extend this year. But I guess to your point, if the Bengals want to save a little bit of money and not put all that money up front now, then they could save, I guess, potentially 20 million if they waited. Actually, it probably wouldn't be that much.
I don't think they save any money. It's that it comes out to be exactly the same if you gave him what he wanted versus if you just franchise him twice.
No, I'm talking about Chase and Higgins, but specifically Chase, because they don't. Because he's technically under contract for 2 years this year, and then the fifth year
like
option.
The salary cap thing. It's like I don't think that it does you any good. Well, no, because we talked about that too, right? Like you can do like the option bonuses.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do the option bonuses for it to make sense.
You can structure the salary cap any way you want. So who knows why they're waiting. Doug Peterson overrated. Hey, Philly special, man. He's a genius.
Wait, is he still the head coach of the Jaguars? I thought he got fired.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I kind of like him as a offensive coordinator. It's kind of crazy how quickly Philly gets rid of their coaches, but then they still have success. So,
well, they have good players.
Well, that and they probably have a really good front office, from what I understand. Because that organization, that's the one that's not afraid to spend money year in and year out. It's like they're always bringing in free agents when they need to, or they're always willing to spend money. It feels like.
Yeah.
It's like the Browns try to do what the Eagles do, but they just don't know the right players to bring in. Like,
I don't know, man. The whole Deshaun Watson thing is like one of the craziest trades I've ever seen.
I just feel like they always overspend for players that never really work out.
I mean, it's just like the idea that trading 3 first-round picks for a quarterback is going to make you good is like crazy.
Plus, giving him the top NFL contract at the time.
Yeah, it's just like,
fully guaranteed. I think that was the worst part.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an afterthought now, but I mean, it's like, to me, it was always the gift that kept on giving with Deshaun Watson, because not only did they give him like one of the worst contracts ever, like I guess deals in general, they kept on pushing his money towards the end of his contract. So like he's basically uncuttable. Like they're just gonna have to deal with him for 2 more years. Yeah. Or I guess 3 more years technically. Huh?
Said maybe he'll get better and we'll all be wrong.
There's always a chance, but I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think this year his cap hit is going to be like 60 million. I think the remaining years of his contract, he's got like a 50 or like a no, it's going to be 60 this year, 70 next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something crazy. So like they're pretty much going to be screwed in terms of cap space.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that if he has a bad game or something else happens.
Jerry Jeudy is already nursing an injury, and Amari Cooper is holding out. Yeah, I was looking over the rosters of like the AFC teams, and the one thing I noticed was like, man, the receivers for the Browns seem kind of old. Not like all of them
Yeah.
are like older,
Yeah.
but I didn't know Judy was hurt. I guess Judy's still kind of young, but Cooper is getting up there. I mean, he's still a good player. I like Cooper. I like his mentality. Yeah, I think he's kind of got the short end of the stick. Just because wasn't he traded?
I think he's been traded twice.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because like he was drafted by the Raiders, right? Or no?
Cowboys, right?
Wait.
Or no, maybe he was traded but drafted by the Raiders. And then
Yeah, and then traded to the Cowboys, and then traded to the Browns. I think you're right. And then I think Judy's kind of like a underperformer, right?
Yeah, maybe the Browns could get Brandon Cooks.
I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is he available still?
I don't know. Just another guy that's been traded a lot.
I feel like, I mean that he may be on their team already.
Yeah, but I mean, like Brandon Cooks is practically like a left-handed relief pitcher, the way he's been traded.
Let's see. Browns roster. I just want to see the receivers again. Because like I was like, holy crap. They seem kind of old. Oh yeah, okay, that's what it was. It was Elijah Moore. Okay, Jerry Judy's not that old. He's only been the wait, hold on. I thought I was okay, that's okay, never mind. Okay, I was looking at the wrong spot. I thought I was looking at experience, but it was their actual jersey number.
Oh.
Well, I saw 8 and I just assumed that was years of experience. Yeah, Amari Cooper 10 years, Judy 5, Elijah Moore 4, James Proche 5. I mean, they're not like terribly old because they do have a few rookies, but there's nothing really about their receiving corps that scares me. It's always their offensive line and how well they can rush.
Mm-hmm.
That always gets me about the Browns. I think that nobody talks about Watson when he put up big numbers is their division was weak. That's true. It was, yeah. I can see that. You think the Browns made a huge mistake? Obviously, yeah. I would say so. I mean, I kind of get the train of thought because I think at the time most people would have considered Watson a better quarterback than
who Brissett?
No, it was the white guy from Oklahoma. Plays for Tampa.
Oh,
because they had like he had like a really good rookie year, right? Where I think they made the playoffs, or maybe it was his second year. It was like the first 2 years was like good, and then something came up where he had a down year. But part of the reason why he had a down year was because he was playing hurt.
Yeah.
And then like the Browns kind of used that against him. And then I guess during that offseason, he like they thought he had maturity issues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the reason why they traded for Watson. Because it's like, well, we want a guy. We want to get a guy in that's more mature.
That has off the field issues, so I think it was a good move.
What's that?
Just joking.
You're talking about Baker Mayfield because he was in trouble in college, right? He ran away from the police.
Some issues. We better get a more steady quarterback. Let's get this Watson guy. Baker Mayfield's better than Deshaun Watson, though.
Statistically, yes.
And like in fact.
I would agree, but I feel like there would still be plenty of people out there that would disagree with that. But yeah.
Well, last year he was better. Isn't that all that matters?
Yeah, I mean, the years that he was actually healthy and on, I guess, because he got traded to the Panthers, right? And then it was like that year when he played with the Panthers, Baker Mayfield, he was with like Sam Darnold and like another quarterback, and they didn't really have like, it was like they were rotating quarterbacks in, so it was just a really bad situation. But they may have just been trying to not really do anything that year to get a quarterback high in the draft the following year.
Mm-hmm. Worked out for him, right?
But yeah, I think Baker Mayfield has a pretty good arm. Like, if you get him on a team that has pretty good deep threats, then I feel like he could do well. But yeah, no, I mean, I always like to see the Browns suffer, so it doesn't hurt me any see them make some of these mistakes. So like for me, it's whatever. It's kind of like watching a train wreck, you know? It's like, okay.
All right, dude. I'm fading fast.
All right. We'll call it a night. It is getting late. Sorry, 12:22 my time.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's even later your time. Holy crap. All right. Well, thank you, Dustin. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate it. But we're going to have to call it a day. It's getting late.
Adieu. I bid you adieu.
Adieu. All right. See you guys.